All right, hello and welcome back to the Smart Start Recreational Therapy Insights YouTube channel. I'm your host, Nate the Lamaster, founder of Smart CU's Hub. And today, as you can tell, I am wearing a turtleneck. And I think I'm going to actually remove my hat for today because of what we're talking about. All right, I'm going to be channeling my inner Steve Jobs. No, I'm not like him, but I wish, he's pretty awesome. But anyways, today, this is fitting because we're actually going to be talking about assistive technology and recreational therapy. And we'll even be talking about a little business idea and go through today. So we're going to be talking about innovative tools that you can incorporate into your practice, but also how some RTs are actually creating assistive devices, myself included, that are helping our clients thrive. So let's dive right in. All right, assistive technology, also known as AT, which I will be referring to it sometimes throughout this segment. Any tool, high tech or low tech, that enhances a person's ability to function independently and engage meaningfully in life. So from a recreational therapist perspective, we'll be looking at ways for them to be able to participate in activities that they enjoy, things that they want to participate in. It could be something like walking. It could be something as crazy advanced as an assisted rifle holder so that they can go hunting, in a wheelchair that can go all terrain, or whatever the case might be. There's a lot of cool ideas that are out there. So there are things such as adaptive paintbrushes, paintbrushes that are thicker on the handle for people, or for instance, some people that have no arms, right, have learned to paint with their feet. And so sometimes the tool can be adaptive for their feet. Talking photo albums, so photo albums that can actually move. Eye gaze systems, VR-based programs for physical rehab and balance, right? We used to use the Wii game for balance, but now we have virtual reality, which is even cooler. And communication boards, so for people that have aphasia and aren't able to speak, this is a great tool for them. And it can also include something simple, like a tool that helps someone open a blister pack of medicine, for instance, without any pain or struggle. Wink. Anyways, which leads me to a quick example. So, for those of you that don't know, this is called the pill puncher. This is something that I invented a few years back. The tool has a reservoir on the inside, has a puncture point on the top, drops pills into here, and somebody who has arthritis, can you imagine how difficult getting into a medication package would be for them? I mean, somebody who has neuropathy, or is just elderly, has dexterity issues. And so what you can do with this is you can actually put it on a surface. So what you do is you puncture the back of the pill you're wanting to take. You turn it over, and so I put the pill right there in the middle, and then you push down. The pill drops into the reservoir, just like so. And then what do you got? You got the pill out, right? And the pill is completely intact. You can kind of see it right here. So that's a thing that I invented a little while back, and that I'll give you the story in just a second. All right, so the story about the pill puncher and how that came about, I was actually working in mental health with nurses who had to open up tons of blister packs of medicine. I know this isn't specifically RT related, but RT births the creative mind, I should say. So while working in there, and I was actually starting Smart CU's Hub on the side at the time, a nurse that was there said that they struggled with getting into these packages, and they couldn't have sharp objects on the floor, for instance, because it was a psych rehab hospital. And she said, I would love for you to create a tool that could help us do that. And there was a place downtown, which is a makerspace called Innovation Pipeline. which is a 3D printing, maker space. It had, CNC drilling machines, all types of cool stuff there, which, I would go to when I get off of work, and I would try prototyping different things using a free CAD software that I found. And not knowing much about all of that, because I'm not an engineer by trade, that is, I'm a recreational therapist. I had to kind of teach myself a lot. But after 26 prototypes, using the nurses as my guinea pigs, came up with the tool that we have right here. It's called the pill puncher. Right? It opens blister packs of medicine. So, for instance, if you have a pill in one of these and you have a client, so now we actually sell to pharmacies and senior home living places and all that. It's actually really good for neuropathy and arthritis. And what you can do for this, if you don't have the finger strength, so there's a puncture point right here, and let's say this is the pill I'm wanting to get, puncture the back, slice right that, turn it over. If I have finger strength, I just close it like that. But if I don't, and I have arthritis, I can use this part of my hand, can use whatever part right there. And then what we got here is the pill fell into this reservoir. I'll pour it out into my hand, just like so. Pill comes out. Super simple, super easy. Anyone can use it. So that is a tool that I created, and as a result of working in psych as a recreational therapist. And now I sell these, countrywide. We're in 35 pharmacies now. So if you've ever had an "I wish this existed" moment, I want you to think about that for a second. Okay, what can you do that's really creative that you think would be really cool for your clients? How can you think of a tool to make their lives better or easier? And then make that tool. And then sell that tool. And then you have a business that's RT related, and it actually helps clients in the field of RT. Really cool idea. So I love to see how your mind is working. And if you are interested in RT business classes or any of that stuff, I also teach those. So I can teach you how to take something from idea to reality. Just contact me at Nathan, Nathan, at smartcusub.com, and I will be glad to do that. I'll put that in the description on the YouTube video so you can do that. All right, guys, without further ado, let's move on. All right, types of activity therapy in RT practice. Okay, so let's break down some common areas that RTs work in and what we can do with activity therapy and assistive technology in those. So we have arts and crafts. Okay? So for instance, adaptive scissors, scissors that are going to cut or maybe are meant for fingers that don't go all the way together, whatever the case might be. Grip-friendly brushes, thicker brushes. Universal cuffs. There's a lot of things you could do to increase the thickness of a handle without purchasing a expensive tool. Like for instance, just taking some duct tape, wrapping it around, maybe put some cloth around it, make it look nice at the end, right? And now you have this bigger tool that is thicker, so I now can grip something that big when I can't bring my fingers all together to grip something that big. That's an idea that's really cheap. Cognitive aids, so timers, voice reminders. For me, I have a cognitive aid that I use. I use my Google Calendar. Lets me know what my day is going to be. And my wife reminds me on the Google Calendar what my day is going to be. So, yeah, step-by-step virtual instructions. Music, drum pads triggered by switches, okay? Music making apps with color-coded notes. Those are a really cool idea. There's a lot of cool ways that you can do that with music. Leisure and gaming, Xbox adaptive controllers, okay, modified joysticks, accessible mobile games, all right, and you can even do VR and have one of the headsets and the hand motions be free, and they might be able to do some sort of leisure activity virtually that maybe they wouldn't be able to do because of accessibility issues out in the real world. So that's a really cool way to do it. Communication could be devices like GoTalk on your phone, could be Prolock 2 Go, or even a custom communication binder. It could be a communication board that you are using with pictures so that people can point to yes, no, all that stuff. They can't say it. There's lots of communication boards online that you can print out that are free even. So that's just some ideas for you. And you don't need a huge budget for a lot of these things. I mean, like I just said, going on Google and printing out a free communication board, that could be a great example, would be a great tool. It doesn't have to be like some fancy communication board, for instance. And just build it from there. All right, now we're going to talk about how to integrate assistive technology thoughtfully in your RT practice. Here's how to keep it client-oriented. You got to match the device to the client's need. Not one device fits everybody. Okay, assure that they can use it comfortably and confidently. Collaborate with OTs, PTs, speech and language pathologists, or caregivers when possible on when to use these tools and how to use these tools. OTs are really closely related to what we do. They do activities of daily living like brushing hair, brushing your teeth, putting on shoes, all those things. And there's assistive technology that's for that. A lot of those tools could be useful for our clients, as well as tools that we provide that let them to participate in leisure and things that they enjoy doing. The whole goal is to give them independence, right? So coordinating with them is a great and helpful way to do that. And document what works and what doesn't, so for the future. Okay, and don't be afraid to modify or even invent something new, guys, right? If it isn't out there already, you could be the person that brings that to the world, and you could be solving a huge problem for people. So let's just keep that in mind, okay? All right, ethics and accessibility, guys. So we're going to talk about this. With great tech comes great responsibility. Okay, sorry. Keep that in mind. Always get informed consent, okay? Especially with devices that record or track, right? Those are really important personal things. So you want to have the permission from the client. Prioritize data privacy, okay? So if it's an app on a phone that you've helped create that's going to help a client, right? There is privacy concerns, right? Especially with smart or cloud-based tools, right? Look into funding sources like Medicaid. Sometimes there's grants for new technology, schools, grants, or from businesses, donor programs, those types of things to develop these types of tools. For me, I found a few really wealthy investors here in Tyler that helped me bring the pill puncher to market. Of course, they took part ownership in my company. They don't own the majority. In fact, only I own 85% now, so I own most of it. But that's something to keep in mind. All right, so now for some wrap up and takeaways from today's session, folks. Okay, assistive technology helps bridge the gap in accessibility, leisure, and independence. RTs can and do, design our own tools to meet our clients' needs. We do that whether it be something cheap that we created to help them participate in our practice or something that we have figured out how to manufacture and sell, okay? Whether you're buying, adapting, or inventing, always lead with purpose and compassion, right? The client is the one that's to benefit. Any business or I'm gonna give you a tip right here, any business that you do or anything that you create or, whatever it is that you're wanting to do, it should not be about the money, okay? Money is a result of helping people, okay? You've provided a service or a product that people need, okay? Businesses do that, okay? And the more people you help and the bigger the problem you're solving for people, the more money you will make as a result. But if your goal is just to make money, you're likely to cut edges or cut corners, do things unethically, treat people unfairly, all of that. That's a no-no. That'll catch up with you. And yeah, that's not what it needs to be out there. So just really seek out how you can help people and just get really good at business. And then you'll be helping the world and hopefully you'll get a good paycheck there. So, All right, so teaser for next week. Let's talk about what's going to happen next week. I'm kind of excited about this. So I have a recreational therapist that will be joining me next week on our telehealth and virtual recreation session. Her name is Karnata Lewis, and she lives in Tyler, Texas, where I live. There are very few recreational therapists in my town. I only know of 3, and she's one of them, and she has her own business providing in-home services and out in the community services for clients, and she's also trying to get into working with schools. So we have a very special treat. We'll be doing a kind of a natural type interview, back and forth, dialogue, just to kind of learn about how she used this, especially with the pandemic and everything else that's happened. So hopefully there'll be a lot of nuggets for you to take home with you. And guys, I hope you have a great Monday. Thank you so much for liking this series. If you haven't already, please do like and subscribe, right? Okay, that helps us, that helps you. Okay, and I will see you guys next Monday when we do this episode. And as always, recreational therapists, have a great week and stay classy.